God miraculously spared the president's life. I think it's undeniable, and he did it for an obvious purpose. And his presidency and his life are the fruits of divine providence, and he points that out, obviously, now all the time, and he's right to do so.
Did you hear it was recently the anniversary of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump? You must have, because Republicans spent a lot of time talking about how God saved Donald Trump's life. And that's what we're here to talk about today. My name is Brittany Page. I host the Page Perspective right here on YouTube. But today, I'm your guest host while Jesse is at jury duty. That's right. He is participating in this very important civic duty. He wanted me to encourage you all, if you have the opportunity, if you get called for jury duty, don't try to get out of it. You're here because you care about the issues. You're here because you care about equality and justice. And just like Jesse is showing up for his civic duty, I hope you do the same. I'm happy that you're here. I'm not happy to be talking about Mike Johnson being a hypocrite and praising Donald Trump and really causing some offense, I think, by praising Donald Trump and saying that God saved Donald Trump's life during the assassination attempt. And here's why I say that. I don't know if this rubs anyone else the wrong way, but I find it strange that the official position of the White House, of these Republicans in the Republican Party, is that Donald Trump was directly saved that day by God. Now, this isn't an indictment of religious beliefs. I'm sure many people watching this can possibly believe the same thing about people in their life who have been protected from death. That's a common way that people cope, right? Is to believe that God intervened somehow, that God is with you, that God is protecting you. I'm not trying to have any commentary, negative or otherwise, about that specifically. What I find strange is the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and all of these Republicans in power, and Donald Trump himself, they go out of their way to talk about how God saved Donald Trump for a reason. But, you know, a Trump supporter died that day, guys. A Trump supporter was killed that day. And so I guess I just think about his family and what it must be like to hear all of these people say, Donald Trump he's such an important man that God personally intervened to save him. Now, the Trump supporter, Corey, can't really speak to that guy and how important his life is. I mean, that's the implicit position of Mike Johnson in this clip and of the Republican Party. I don't want you to wait, though, because this is particularly disturbing and unhinged. I mean, they're completely rewriting Donald Trump's life and his history, his lifelong pattern of behavior with this clip. Watch Mike Johnson on Donald Trump and his life in the hand of God.
Social media platforms removed his ability to communicate with his supporters. Armed FBI agents raided his home. Democrat judges and prosecutors bent the law to arrest him, and multiple assassins tried to kill him. But God miraculously spared the president's life. I think it's undeniable, and he did it for an obvious purpose. And his presidency and his life are the fruits of divine providence, and he points that out, obviously, now all the time, and he's right to do so. As President Trump has lived since, with the acknowledgement, every day since, he has acknowledged that each new day isn't guaranteed to us. It isn't to any of us, and that's why we're not wasting any time. It's why he remains so strong and resilient. It's why we have such a sense of urgency. President Trump took a bullet to his head. He got up shortly thereafter. He pleaded with the crowd to fight, and then he went on to win a historic election less than 4 months later. America's changed because he survived that day.
Well, I won't argue with you there, Mike. America is changed because he survived that day. Although I think you and I have different feelings and sentiments about what impact his survival had on America and the damage that he's currently causing, right? Mike is saying he was saved, so now he's doing all these amazing things for America. And I'm sitting here saying he is doing horrifically damaging things to America and Americans. But while I was watching that clip, I couldn't help but stare at the guy who is not Steve Scalise. And I'm referencing him as the guy who's not Steve Scalise because I don't actually know that guy's name. If you know that guy's name, let me know in the comments, tell me who he is. But his face, he's looking into the camera. He's like staring into the camera at times and then nervously looking away. It's almost like his internal monologue is saying, history will not be kind to us. The camera is rolling. I can't escape. I'm part of this now. At least that's what my takeaway was from his face. Again, let me know what you think about it. But Mike says Democratic prosecutors and judges bent the law to try to go after Trump and attack him. And I guess it's just funny to hear that in the face of the endless headlines about the Supreme Court and their orders, one after another, dismantling our democracy with each hour that passes. To hear about Democratic prosecutors and judges bending the law, we're lectured about that. But I would like to know who is Mike Johnson talking about? Who did that? Is he talking about Merrick Garland, who failed at every turn to hold Donald Trump accountable? Is that one of the people that he's talking about? I hope not. But we're now in a situation where the Supreme Court actually shares Mike Johnson's view of Donald Trump, that he's a king sent by God. And there's evidence of this every time we pick up our phones and our heart is racing because we see that there's another announcement from the Supreme Court, and we're wondering what it is now that they are doing to dismantle our democracy. And they're giving him the power of a king. It doesn't matter if these federal agencies established by Congress, where only Congress has the power to abolish them, that doesn't matter anymore because King Trump wants to demolish the Department of Education. So he's granted the power to do so by the Supreme Court. And I mean, I can't help but think about, as someone who has student loans, I don't know if you're watching this, if you have student loans, as, you know, someone who's logging into my Mohila portal to see how many days left until they update my interest rate to start charging me interest, a horrifying thought. I can't help but think about how Joe Biden couldn't cancel student loans and Donald Trump is able to abolish the Department of Education. I mean, it's maddening and it's scary what's happening here. But Mike Johnson also talked about, you know, Donald Trump's home was raided. That's another way that he was attacked. And why was that, Mike? Did you want to explain maybe why that happened? Was it because of Donald Trump's mishandling of classified documents? Classified documents that discussed things that are very secret and private and that should not be taken to Donald Trump's residence. Things like our military capabilities for our allies and adversaries. Things like our U.S. nuclear program. Is maybe that the reason that his home was raided, Mike? I think that context is important. But oh, what? What is that? Are we lucky enough to be getting a call from the Batphone while I'm guest hosting while Jesse is away? I think maybe we should answer it. Maybe it's Jesse at jury duty, you guys. Let's see. Hello? Jesus. Wow. I can't believe I'm lucky enough to be talking to Jesus, especially right when I need a segue to my next clip. So how can I help you today, Jesus? You want to illustrate Mike's point about Trump's life being the fruits of divine providence. You want to support Mike Johnson's point, and you have a clip. You have a clip to illustrate it. Wow, really taking the load off of me while I'm guest hosting. I appreciate that, Jesus. Let's see what you got.
Now, Donna, what does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
Oh boy, well, Jesus really coming through with that clip of Trump speculating about whether his infant daughter, Tiffany, will end up having a nice rack. Who knew that Jesus would deliver us that clip? I was not expecting that from Jesus, but we can just go through the list, right? The lifelong record of predation. We had Donald Trump, who was found liable for sexual abuse by a jury of his peers, just like Jesse at jury duty right now, right? The constant yearning for his daughter, Ivanka, and when he was asked, hey, what's something that you have in common with your daughter? A very nice, innocent question. He says, sex. He has sex in common with his daughter. extremely disturbing. The endless accusations of sexual misconduct, the tape where he talks about grabbing pussies, the interviews where he brags about walking into dressing rooms of beauty pageant girls. I mean, these are the fruits of divine providence. Do we have that right, Mike? As Jesse would say, gross. Also, as Jesse would say, please subscribe to me on YouTube. He's telling you that. We're gonna get a call from him next, maybe, announcing that you should subscribe to my channel on YouTube, where I also talk about politics and public policy and psychology and all of the things. Please subscribe to my channel over there. You can search my name, or you can click the link in the description below. As Jesse would say, let me know what you think. You can comment below, feed the algorithm, or you can leave a voicemail at 714-576-4054, or send an email to daily@dollemore.com. And as Jesse would say, maybe I should stop saying that. As Jesse would say, be genuine and take care of one another.